School Board for Monday, November 5th, 2018. Can I have roll call, please?
Here.
Here. Dr. Kennedy? Here. Mrs. Tucker? Here. Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Negrini? Mr. Wolf?
Here.
That's 7 present, 2 absent.
Thank you. If we could all rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Attorney Luke, any announcements?
No, I'm not Attorney Moravich, but thanks for having me today and covering for him who is ill. Does he really go over the public participation now?
He typically
Okay.
does, yeah.
I'm sorry?
We can't hear back here.
Oh, okay. Public participation, persons that are wishing to participate should complete the small form and give it to Ms. Edna Carroll. Public participation is limited to 3 minutes. This is not a question and answer session. This is an opportunity for a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board about anything that is on the agenda, as long as the individual making comment is a district resident or taxpayer.
Okay. I believe we have public comments for the end on non-agenda items, so we'll keep moving along. We have a recognition. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Fadley.
This evening at 6 p.m. Down in the auditorium, we were fortunate to dedicate a memorial at the high school auditorium to a full house of chairs that were set up. We dedicated this memorial. To give a little background about the memorial and the individuals that we are going to recognize this evening, I'll repeat what I said at the memorial event earlier this evening. The event is a part of the final phase of a multi-year project that was originated in 2012 by a Wilson graduate, Kevin Vogt. The project began with the dedication of a flag and plaque listing all the names of our fallen alumni, which were carefully researched by Kevin while he was a student at Wilson. It was Kevin's long-term vision to develop an interactive touchscreen display that contained additional information and memorabilia about Wilson's fallen alumni. Since Kevin was away at school and his time was limited, Wilson gifted student Bryce Heilman pulled all of the information together and programmed the interactive display. At that time, Bryce was a 6th grader. The display was completed, and we dedicated it this evening at right outside of the Wilson High School auditorium entrance. So the next time you're down at the auditorium, please take some time to go through the interactive display. This evening, it's my pleasure to ask Kevin Vogt and Bryce Heilman to come to the podium and say a few words.
All right, thank you, Dr. Fadley and School Board. We appreciate your support over the course of this project. It's been 10 years in the making, as I mentioned downstairs, and we're so honored that you have chosen to partner alongside of us and help us accomplish this project. This started off as something very small, and to what we have today, it wouldn't be possible without your help, your support, your efforts. So we really appreciate that as well. Bryce here, next to me to my left, worked diligently as a 6th grader, taking on this project. We had all the research done for each fallen alumni, where they served, what they did while in service to this country, their obituaries, what they did in school. A lot of people from the community wrote in and said, I know such and such a person, and I remember them. They were a really good basketball player. Well, that's something that's good to know. That's something that our students can connect with, right? So we wanted to make these guys someone that wasn't just a picture. They weren't just a name on the wall, that you could interact with each of them, that they become personable, and you can relate in those areas, like being, I played basketball too. So, there's those connections that someone could make with these alumni. So this touchscreen interface is very interactive. It's learning in nature. You can touch the screen and it brings up the pictures, the names, the obituaries, all that information. And it wouldn't be possible without the hard work of Bryce as a sixth grader, organizing all the data that we collected over the 10 years and making it into what it is now, this interactive touchscreen. So thank you so much, school board. We really appreciate your hard works and efforts again. Thank you. And in closing, I want to invite everyone in the community. There is going to be the Veterans Dance, Appreciation Dance coming up on Saturday. So 3 to 4 is social hour, 4 to 5 is the dinner, and 5 the official ceremony and dancing begins. So we invite everyone from the community to come out. If you know a veteran, please invite them. We want them to be a part of this. Tickets are still available. The event will be held in the gymnasium here at Wilson High School. So thank you again, school board. We really appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Kevin and Bryce, thank you again for all of your hard work. When you have a chance, please make your way down to the auditorium. I believe, if I remember the number correctly, there are 31 fallen alumni as part of that interactive display. And it's very impressive, very well done, put together, and we should all be proud of it. Thank you again.
On that same subject, in honor of Veterans Day that will be next week, at this time, could I have anyone who has served in one of our armed forces please rise and be recognized? Thank you very much for your service. It was a very stark reminder this evening with your presentation. It was a very moving, stark reminder that freedom really isn't free, and 31 of our alumni paid the ultimate price. And I'm honored that you took the time and effort to have that presentation in our building for all to come and see. I realized tonight that there's a classmate of mine that was on that list that I was not aware of. So I know who he is now, and I know his name, and I thank you for doing that. So thank you again. All right, we're going to keep moving along in the agenda with approval of minutes. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the school board meeting held October 15th, 2018 and October 22nd, 2018. Mr. Martin, thank you. Mrs. Cocker, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Payment of bills, Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, I submit for approval tonight payment of bills in the amount of $2,597,967.49.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
7-4 again.
Thank you. Mr. Martin, I believe you have to dismiss yourself. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Okay, moving along to the superintendent's report, Dr. Fadley.
Thank you, President Wolf. It's my privilege this evening to present the superintendent's report. Included in the report this evening are personnel and program recommendations as presented.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to accept Dr. Fadler's report of items 4.1 through 4.8. Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Second, Mr. Hart. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
And Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. 6.1, looking for a motion to accept with gratitude the following donations. From Epics Incorporated, a check in the amount of $100 to be used for Technology and Engineering Department. From RIT, 2 checks totaling $60 to be used for Technology and Engineering Department. And from Jostens to Wilson High School, a check for $56.44 to be used for graduation expenses. So I have a motion for that. Mr. Case, thank you. Second, Mr. Hart. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Under Human Resources, looking for a motion to request approval of a stipend for $2,000 payable to Dr. Amy Flannery for mentorship of Jonathan Stenger and Kelly Byrne as new elementary principals. 7.2, request approval of the winter sports and swimming as per attached. 7.3, request approval to hire 2 full-time security guards for the high school. 7.4, request approval of the 2018-2019 school staff leader stipends, $550 each for the following: Krista Steffi from Cornwall Terrace, Stacy Galimo from Green Valley, Christopher Carr from Shiloh Hills, Kim Wilson from Spring Ridge, and Jennifer Joyner from Whitfield. 7.5, request approval of the 2018-2019 Academic Club Advisors as per attached. Do I have a motion for 7.1 through 7.5? Mrs. Cocker, thanks. Mr. Hart, second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hart? Yes. Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
That's 6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Moving on to pupil services. Under 8.1, looking for a motion to approve to apply for the Act 80 days for elementary and secondary as presented. 8.2, looking for a motion to request permission to ratify a contract with Barrett Therapy Services to provide speech-language services, occupational therapy, and physical therapy to special education students at the rate of $90 per hour during the 2018-2019 school year. 8.3, request approval to contract with New Story, a school to provide education for 1 special education student at a cost of $380 per day for the 2018-2019 school year beginning October 3rd, 2018 until June 6th, 2019. 8.4, this is one we don't see often, but request approval of a settlement agreement for the district to be paid. That's the district to be paid the sum of $10,500 to settle all claims that arose from a residency dispute. Again, that is a payment to the district, not money going out. 8.5, request approval of a resolution approving and adopting a student discipline waiver and consent agreement dated October 19th, 2018. 8.6, request and ratify placement of 1 18-year-old high school male on October 24th, 2018 into River Rock Academy at a rate of $116.70 per day. 8.7, request ratification of the placement of 1 15-year-old high school female on September 5th, 2018 into the River Rock Academy in Amity at a rate of $116.70 per day. So looking for a motion for 8.1 through 8.7. Mr. Case, Mr. Ehrlich, second. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Yes. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
That's 6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Under Technology and Media, 9.1, looking for a motion to request approval to donate 10 obsolete Chromebooks for the Jamaica humanitarian trip in January. Mr. Case, thank you. Dr. Kennedy, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
That's 6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. 12.1, Looking for a motion to approve the addendum to the MOU between Schuylkill Valley School District and the Wilson School District as presented. 12.2, looking for a motion to request approval to pay Joel Dries for Q1 of virtual driver's education, the amount of $4,650, which is 2 sections at $1,000 base fee plus $50 per student times 53 students. Looking for a motion to approve the partnership between Centro Hispano and Wilson School District pending solicitor review and approval. So I'm looking for a motion for 12.1 through 12.3. Dr. Kennedy, Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Wolf? Yes. 6 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Under Transportation, looking for a motion to request approval of a transportation contract with Hogan Learning Academy for the school year 2018-2019 at a cost of $240 per day. I have a motion for that. Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Second, Mr. Hart. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
That's 6 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Under Food and Cafeteria, 14.1, requesting approval to advertise for bids on a dishwasher machine for Spring Ridge Elementary School. I have a motion for that. Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Second, Mrs. Cocker, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6 for, 0 against.
Okay, under Policies, we have a final reading. Motion to accept the final reading and to adopt policies as presented. It's Policy 203, 203.1, 218.3, and 218.4. And then under 17.2, we're looking for a motion to request to accept to suspend policy procedures in order to accept Policy 808 under Food Services. So, sorry, just for clarification, are we having to break these up at this point?
We would do 17.1 and 17.2 together.
Okay, and then we'll do 17.3. Okay. So looking for 17.1 and 17.2. Mr. Case, thank you. Dr. Kennedy, thank you. Roll call on those two.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6 for, 0 against.
Okay, then wrapping that up under 17.3, we're looking for a motion to request adoption of the following revised policy 808 under Food Services. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Case first, Mr. Ehrlich second. Roll call on that one, please.
Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
That's 6 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports, BCTC, Mr. Case.
Sure. Just wanted to start off with that the 2 open houses at the East and West campus a couple of weeks ago were a huge success. Doors were breaking down about 45 minutes before they even opened the doors, and a lot of parents and students came by to check out all the programs. So it was a great success. I think they had record-breaking attendance for the open houses. And as the applications come in for the next school year, we'll get a feeling of how good the open houses hit. So the board for the BCTC, we walked through the sports medicine and rehab therapy labs. One of the labs is new, and it's a fantastic program at the BCTC. And students learn about theory and theory applications. They have internships for sports medicine. They talk about or learn about strength training, sports medicine, anatomy, physiology, all sorts of medical terms. You can go into an associate's degree right from that, and a lot of students go into a bachelor's program right away too. And my understanding is there's a lot of Wilson students that are part of that program. It's a great program, and they're getting more and more traction as they're going. So With that said, they're accepting applications for classes to begin in the 2019-2020 school year. So if anyone is interested in learning more about BCTC and you've missed the open houses, please give a call, schedule an appointment to go in and take a look at all the great programs and check out their website. There is a new Berks County Technical Academy that BCTC is partnering with Bloomsburg University, RAC, Berks, or Reading Muhlenberg is part of it too. But there's all these programs that you can get all these great college credits, up to 24 college credits for their programs: IT programming, IT web design, engineering and automation technology, mechatronics, health occupations, medical information technology. So you take all these great courses while you're in high school, which they're cheap, and you can get 24 credits up to an associate's degree, and then Bloomsburg, depending on the program, Bloomsburg and other colleges will accept that going to a bachelor's program. So a lot of great things going on at Berks Career and Technical Center. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Dr. Kennedy, do you want to do both the IU and curriculum?
Thank you. We met at the curriculum committee. We discussed continuous school improvement, where we are looking at ways to improve our schools in different ways other than just test scores, which I think is a really fantastic thing. We also talked a lot about the new elementary school report cards. There have been many, many school meetings, one at each of the buildings and then one up here at the high school, where parents have been able to come and ask questions about the report cards. They've been well attended. We've also had meetings about the new math program that parents have come and asked questions about it. Our next meeting is November 20th. And the BCIU meeting, one of the things that I find really wonderful about the meetings at the BCIU is all of the things that they're doing with safety. They held a Berks County-wide safety summit in October, where 300 people came and talked about an active shooting drill. I happened to be up at Kutztown Elementary School doing some observations one of the days that they were testing the new app that we're all eventually going to get, which I can never remember the name of. Crisis Go app, and where they were practicing using the app, and it was really really interesting, and I'm excited for the rollout for the entire county. And the best thing about it is that the BCIU applied for a grant, so not only will we get the Crisis Go app for this year, but we'll get it for the next 2 years. So they're continuing to do really fantastic things for the whole Berks County up at the BCIU. That's it.
Great, thank you. Under extracurricular, just an update on our fall season. It's been an exciting one. Some recent highlights: our girls cross country team finished second in the district. Field hockey finished third, and they open their state play tomorrow, all the way out at Latrobe High School. So that's a bit of a haul, but we wish them the best. Football plays in the district semifinals this Saturday versus Harrisburg. Boys soccer came in second in the district. They open their state play tomorrow in Philadelphia versus Roman Catholic. Girls soccer won the county championship. Unfortunately, they lost their play-in game this weekend. And we have Mr. Russo sitting here. Both our boys and girls water polo teams played for the state final. Unfortunately didn't bring it home, but just amazing that it once again made it to the state final another year. Two of our players were water polo players of the year, Donovan Curran, and our girls, Sophia Appler, was also player of the year. So exciting weekend for Wilson Athletics. I'm the first to admit I'm usually presenting more athletic stuff here than the other extracurricular non-athletic stuff, but I did have the opportunity to be at the Wilson West presentation of Lion King and was just blown away that group of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders did such a phenomenal job. And a couple things jumped out to me. First of all, when they all came out on the stage, there were, and I know this because I asked Steph Brock, there were 92 kids that were involved in that production, which is incredible. Just drove home the importance of that opportunity for kids who may not want to play a sport, but to do something else and be involved. And the other thing I noticed were there's a family that I know that has 2 children that are on the autism spectrum, and 2 of their children were involved in that production as well. So it was a very moving presentation. I know Dr. Faley was there with his whole crew, and I was blown away. That you did. But I know every production we put on is amazing, but it was very moving for me to see that. So you were there as well, Brad. Great. All right, moving along to facilities. Mr. Negrini's not here. Mr. Martin's not here either, so I don't know that we have an update from either of them. Mr. Ehrlich, anything from finance?
We had a meeting late this afternoon at which we had a presentation of the draft of the 2017-2018 audit by Herbine and Company. The district will be receiving an unqualified opinion, which is the highest you can get, highest opinion you can get. We will be presenting that audit for acceptance by the board on November 19th, the final. So we went through the draft of the financials in great detail, looked at a lot of different things, obviously looked forward as well. We also covered food services in a fair amount of detail, both through the audit report and also with Carol, who's our consultant, and providing us an update on where things are. We have made up a lot of ground. They've done a lot of good work. There's still a long way to go. There's some programs that they have initiated that have made a lot of sense. Some of the staffing reductions and changes that have been put into effect have been pretty much completed now. So we have reduced the staffing to more appropriate levels where they're supposed to, where they should be, where they're supposed to be. We covered some things that we're going to be looking at as time goes on for food services to continue to improve both the food that's served and also from a financial standpoint. I think Carol's doing a great job for her and her company. Her contract is up, Christine, the end of December. So we're going to be reviewing that contract to see what makes the most sense for the district from a cost standpoint going forward. And I will say this again when we present the audit, but can't thank enough Christine and Lori Castor for their hard work and everything they do. Really no comments from the audit. So to get that kind of year after year is really a testament to the job that Christine and her staff continue to do, and Herbine does a nice job for us as well. That completes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Schlossman, I apologize. I got so excited about Lion King, I forgot to ask you if there's anything for Berks EIT. Nothing? Okay. Thank you. Mr. Hart, anything under HR?
Next week, Wednesday, I keep wanting to say June for some reason, but November 14th, 12 o'clock in the HR department.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Troutman, do you have anything under PR?
Just a few items under Wilson Good News. We want to congratulate Shiloh Hills Elementary School for being named a 2018-2019 Distinguished Title I School by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. There are only 158 schools selected to receive this designation. So Shiloh Hills will be honored at the 2019 Title I Improving Schools Performance Conference in January. And in addition, they will be eligible to be chosen as one of Pennsylvania's National Title I Distinguished Schools. So we certainly want to, again, congratulate all the Shiloh Hills Elementary School students, staff, administration, and their families on this outstanding achievement. We also want to congratulate 2 Wilson students, Shashank Shradhar and Jenny Zhao, for being chosen to represent the Reading Music Foundation at their annual Berks Shines fundraiser. 8 students, only 8 students from all of Berks County who received scholarships, music lessons, and instruments from RMF were selected to perform at the event. So Shashank played the saxophone with the Jazz Combo Trading 4, and then he also performed a solo piano piece. and Jenny performed a solo violin piece. So we're very proud of those students. Under PR, really great project that was a combination of teachers, students, and administration working together. And the Reading Eagle actually was there to observe this big project kind of come together. So on Tuesday, October 30th, Allison Irwin's 11th grade reading strategies class from the high school read with 3rd grade students at Whitfield Elementary School. And the purpose was to show young kids the importance of reading so they understand how it can impact and define their future. So to orchestrate the semester-long project, there was a lot of different people from the Wilson community that came together. First, the Wilson Education Foundation provided a $500 grant, and that grant was used to connect students at both the secondary and elementary levels, as well as Wilson staff and administrators. And then an additional organization was brought in to the project, Canine Partners for Life, and they brought service dogs in to enhance the reading experience with our students. So the high school students for months studied service dogs and how they can assist in the reading process, and this all led up to this one special day of reading. And it was an awesome day. It was just so neat to see those high school students reading with those 3rd graders at Whitfield. And hopefully you saw the paper today, because there was a large article on the front page of the Berks and Beyond section about the project. So we're super proud of all those students and teachers and administrators who were involved in that project. Also wanted to mention, you probably noticed that we have a new exhibit here in the Grandview Gallery. This is artwork from our Cornwall Terrace Elementary School students, and we'll be officially opening this exhibit on November 8th from 5 to 7 with a reception. So this is the work of Cornwall Terrace art teacher Mrs. Iswalt, who worked with her students, and she explored creativity in a fun and positive environment. So again, the Grandview Gallery loves the opportunity to work with our art teachers to be able to display the artwork of our students, and I think you can agree this is a great exhibit. And then finally, Mr. Hopp is not here this evening, but he did ask me to report on his behalf. One of the goals of Mr. Hopp as PR chair is that he wants to get out and visit classrooms to see unique things happening. So he and I did go out these past few weeks to visit various schools and classrooms. We visited Mr. Filer's high school classroom to observe him using gamification to teach his pre-calculus students. That was a fun day. And in addition, we visited the Wilson Southern Middle School science field trip to the pond located at the West Campus. As part of that field trip, students worked in groups with their science teachers to test the pH level, air temperature, water temperature of the pond at West. So again, we're thrilled that our Southern students were able to come to West to be able to use that outdoor classroom space, which we are, as a school district, so fortunate to have. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Technology, Mrs. Cocker. Boy, I'm jumping all over the place here. Mr. Case, Education Foundation.
I can't say enough about this great fundraising event that's coming up, hosted by the Wilson Education Foundation. Please, if you have not heard me speak about this a couple of times already, enjoy an evening out with fellow Wilson parents, alumni, and supporters at the Casino Bash. The event will include food, beverages, live music, Wilson exclusive auction items, casino games, and more. And proceeds are going to benefit the Wilson Education Foundation. This is going to be on Saturday, November 17th from 6:30 to 11 p.m. at the Berkshire Country Club. And for more information and to purchase tickets, you can see them on the website. You can call the WEF office and get in touch with the office there. So lots of opportunities, and there was a flyer that went out also as well just recently. A little bit more about the WEF. Proceeds from this event are going to benefit the Wilson Education Foundation, whose mission is to support Wilson excellence. The vision of the organization is to engage parents, alumni, businesses, and businesses to invest in the greater Wilson community to further differentiate a Wilson education and to enhance students' opportunities. The non-tax dollars raised by the foundation support the needs of our students and teachers by funding academic programs, grants, scholarships, district events, and facility upgrade campaigns. I just want to talk about a little, we talked about it earlier. One of the things I just learned tonight was the Fallen Alumni Interactive Memorial Dedication Ceremony. The display, the television, and the computer that were purchased for that were through the WEF. So it is a great organization. So come out and have a lot of fun that night on Saturday, November 17th. Tickets are still available. If you want to make sure that you have a reservation, I believe November 9th, you want to make sure you have your tickets by November 9th. So it's going to be a great time.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Russo, Student Outreach.
So, as always, I'd like to thank the board and the community for giving me the opportunity to speak on the students' behalf and to touch upon a lot of what Mr. Wolf has already spoken about. Many of our Wilson sports teams have made an impressive run to the postseason. Girls soccer took the county championship title, competed in the district semifinal, while our boys, although not winning the county championship, they are playing in their first state's playing game on Tuesday, or whatever it is. And then football will be facing top-seeded Harrisburg on Saturday in the District 3 Championship. And girls field hockey will be going to states. And this is a direct quote from one of her players, but apparently this is the first year that, for 15 years of coaching, that Coach Underwood will be officially in the state tournament. So that's pretty awesome for them as well. And I'm speaking on my team's behalf. Both our boys and girls water polo teams finished second in the state, and 11 Wilson athletes were named to all state teams. But mostly from the high school students' perspective, it's pretty impressive to see how many students are turning out to each of these events. Whether it is a very rainy Friday night at Gursky Stadium or an hour drive to North Penn High School, there are tons of Wilson students there dressed in different themes, whether it's tacky tourist, pajama themed, or just a Wilson red out. There are plenty of students coming out to support their fellow classmates. Additionally, in the other end of extracurriculars, on November 15th, 16th, and 17th, the Wilson Theater Company will be presenting their second show of this year, Little Shop of Horrors. All shows begin at 7:30, and tickets are available at the door, but to be safe, they can be purchased online at the Wilson Theater Company website. In addition to fall sports, fall weather, and the fall shows such as The Lion King, November catches the end of the election cycle, and several Wilson juniors and seniors have been encouraged through their AP government classes, civics classes, to volunteer at various precincts, quite literally all over Berks County. I have a few friends who I think have to go, I don't even know, 20, 30 minutes away, and they have to be there. They're going to be there from 6 a.m. tomorrow until 8, 9 p.m., but they'll be working as machine operators, precinct clerks, just seeing real local democracy in action. So it's pretty awesome to see how many students we've had take that opportunity. Also, for the past 2 weeks, Wilson has hosted over 20 German exchange students. I don't have the exact number, but several German exchange students. These students stayed with host families, as well as traveling to Lancaster, Reading, New York, Philadelphia. Students attended classes, joined us in our sporting events. They were exposed to various aspects of American culture. At a panel at the end of their stay, one student actually said their favorite thing about America was Dunkin' Donuts, and she could not stop raving about it. And I was like, oh, well, okay. Also at this panel, they spoke about the differences between the United States and Germany, and they raved about American culture and personality. Everything's big, everything has to be better, everyone loves to talk. But they were also very intrigued by the amount of freedom that we have in our education, how we get to choose our own classes, whether it's going to BCTC, the variety of classes that we have, because at their school, there's a strict, I think it's 15 subjects that they're required to take, everyone must take, and they really envy what we have here. They also are impressed by how committed our sports teams are, the depth of our theater program, just the amount of kids that are involved in so many things. And they were especially impressed with our multiple clubs, because there's a club after school every day of the week talking about something random, and the German students were really interested in that. And our cultural and language education does not stop there. Last Monday, 40 Spanish students were invited to take part in events to celebrate the Day of the Dead at Kutztown University. In addition to being exposed to various aspects of Mexican culture and food, students were given a free tour of campus, so that helps some of the seniors that are working in this college process. So in all, I ask you to please consider supporting our Wilson Sports Theater Company this weekend or in the weekends to come, because I know there are a handful of German students who would give anything to go to one more football game.
Great. Thank you so much. What do we have to do to get some tacky tourists at a board meeting? That'd be interesting. Spice it up for us a little bit. Ms. Luke, anything from the solicitor?
No, nothing further to add. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Sure. public participation, we have Mrs. Keener's here, if you want to take the podium now.
Good evening.
Hey, Tina, I just, sorry, I just set my phone for 3 minutes and then start out. I'll hold my finger up on this one and that kind of interrupts you. I just wanted to be up and stuff, okay?
Okay, no worries. Okay, as you all know, I am Tammy Keener, and I addressed the school board in September. And since then, I have read the district policies, and I understand that for people to ask questions, we must attend the separate committees, which I did. However, that is during business hours when most people in the public, in the district, are at work. Nowhere in the policies did it read that bullying was allowed by the school board, yet that happened after I placed a school elimination sign in an elderly couple's yard. When I attended the facility committee meeting to get my questions answered, I was blindsided by a committee member and a person who he invited as a guest. That guest stated her parents lived on a fixed income in the district without and do not struggle paying their taxes. Sadly, she neglected to state that her parents both are retired school teachers living fat on a Peasers retirement, which us Wilson residents are funding. A report titled Fortune 500, a retrospective Willis Tower Watson reveals that among Fortune 500 companies, only 16% offered a defined benefit plan to new hires in 2017, down from 59% in 1998. The numbers speak for themselves. We are required to fund pensions when many citizens don't get them, don't receive one. The school board ordered a feasibility study by the same firm that the appraisal was done by. I find this to be a little on the biased side. Yes, upgrades are needed. We're not negating that. But to the tune of $23 million, along with 4 AstroTurf fields, is not necessary at the homeowner's expense. During the committee meeting, I discussed the Janus ruling. The response that I received was that the teachers wanted to keep paying their union dues. However, teachers I spoke to in the outside world said they didn't realize that they had a choice. They have to pay them or they don't get representation. According to watchdog.org, legislators have been told that they must adjust laws to comply with Janus ruling, or they can face further legal woes. While I was canvassing, I heard stories from residents who can no longer afford this tax. I've placed over 200 signs in yards across the district, and I'm not finished. I've collected over 250 signatures for eliminating school property tax, and that includes some of your retired teachers. Watchdog.org shows Pennsylvania as the 6th highest state in the nation taxing property to fund their schools. More importantly, this is only a 0.26 difference between number 1 and number 6. Our property tax would be unmanageable if not for numerous businesses in our school district.
Ma'am, thank you for your comments. Your 3 minutes are up at this point.
That's sad. I'll be back.
Thank you. Any other business from the board? Yes.
Accusation of a school board member bullying a community member. I just want to make it very clear that no one on this board has ever bullied a community member for a yard sign. And I just want to make that clear to the public that I think it's myself who is in reference to that, and I don't appreciate family and friends being included in falsehoods. So I just wanted to make that a public statement. Thank you.
Yep. Yes.
As superintendent of the Wilson School District, I would be glad to meet with any public citizen of this community, especially Ms. Keener, if she would like to hear the facts related to some of the statements that she's made this evening. There is a factual side of that. So I would be glad to meet with her and share those facts, whatever her questions might be.
Yeah, and we've said it before, just because there's a policy about a 3-minute limit does not mean the members of the board don't stay around after a meeting and talk to anybody. We're not going to, avoid you after a meeting, so feel free to approach us after the meeting if you have other questions or something else to talk about. Anyone else? Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Hart? Okay. Just another announcement, we will be going into an executive session after the meeting because we did not have a chance to before. Thank you.